Hey guys, welcome back. I'm in the garden today. I just want to talk a little bit about what has been my biggest problem with having a back to Edenish type mulch garden. We started out doing just straight up back to Eden, and then we decided that we needed to have some defined beds. So we went ahead and built these raised beds. They're not really raised, I guess. They're only 4 inches, but we just needed to define what was the walking areas from what is the planting areas, because we had dogs and kids just trampling through plants, and we went to I guess a small raised bed. But anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about having all this mulch. And my biggest problem with back to Eden style mulch garden, the biggest thing that we've encountered is that all of these wood chips are composting in place. And as you probably know, where you have decay, you have slugs. And we have had slugs. I'm going to come around here, check out my poor beans. What has been happened to them? The slugs are relentless. So I am going to show you what I do about them. Okay, so y'all ready to see how we deal with slugs? There they are, folks. I have been saving these buckets of eggshells for months. This one here is pretty compressed. I push the shells down as I go so that I can fit more in there. And this one here is about halfway. So, you know, if you just break them down, then, you know, you can really get a full bucket. So I have quite a bit of shells here. And yes, my hens are very good layers. So, here's what we do. Okay, I've got my blender here. And some people I've heard use a coffee grinder. You can do whatever's easiest for you. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. Might just be easier to just grab a handful here and throw it in. Now the nice thing about the eggshells is it does provide some calcium to your soil too. So you're dealing with your slug problem and, you know, doing something that's going to help out your soil. I'm going to do another video here pretty quick about the importance of a balance between calcium and magnesium in your body and also in your garden soil. So there we have a little batch, and I'm going to spare you the grinding noise, so I'll pause and turn this off. I'll bring you back in just a second. Okay, so I just used the pulse, and you can see what I have is just powdered. And actually, if you take the lid off too soon, then some dust and stuff will float up. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there is some dust floating up from the eggshells. But take a look what we have. It basically looks like whole wheat flour to me. It's got kind of a pink tint to it, and it's just powder. But it's very abrasive to the little slugs. Makes their life a lot more miserable. So if they're going to try to get at something that you want to protect, then this is a good way to do it. So let's go spread it on. Okay, so we're back in the garden. It's still pretty early on here in the season. Everything's pretty young, so there's still plenty of time if you discover you have a problem like this to kind of address it before things get out of hand. So I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle this on. Our days have been, you know, pretty much in the 60s and nights in the 40s. So I'm just going to go on down the row here. Last year I kind of had the same type of problem going on, and I had to do a couple of plantings Looks like they've hit my beans pretty hard again this year. This kind of works the same, I think, as applying diatomaceous earth, but I've had better success with the staying power of the eggshell. I don't know what it is, but you know, actually I do know what it is. It's the abrasive quality of the eggshell. They just don't, it hurts them. Probably they squirm off and die someplace. It's just fine by me because there's no population shortage. So anyway, we're going to go over and share some with the tomatoes too, because everyone knows tomatoes, I still have quite a bit, and tomatoes need the calcium and love the calcium. So pretty soon we're going to be discussing how magnesium found in Epsom salts, which a lot of people talk about Epsom salts used in gardening. Here's my young tomatoes. About how they benefit. And so if you're applying your eggshell, you're supplying usable calcium supplement to the soil, and balancing it with that Epsom salt, the magnesium found in the Epsom salt, then you should never have a blossom end rot problem in your tomatoes.